Hey guys, how's it going? Mike Tannic here, and welcome back to Empyrion, the game that I've rage quit 1,000 times and kind of swore that I swore it off. Maybe I didn't do it publicly, but I swore it off. And if you didn't know, yeah, I kind of got dragged back into it. Not dragged. I mean, like something was offered, a chance to do a tournament. That's going to be hosted by Rakoona and the almighty Spanj. So it's going to be a 1v1 PvP tournament, and for that, I have decided to build my ship. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Uh, I can't build. Uh, and I've earned that reputation. Not, it hasn't been a joke. Well, it has been a joke, but I'm not doing it for goofs. Like, I cannot build to save my life. Well, I couldn't build, but I got a secret weapon. Venom Ross, who gave me started to teach me yesterday, brought in some fine examples of some PvP machines here, including some of his own design, I think, right? Which one? Hi, Venom, by the way.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Talking about you like you're not here. So, uh, yeah, which one is yours? Which ones? Oh, here we are. Yeah, Carnage. What am I
This
thinking?
this is Carnage Rules. It was used when I went up against Husker's ship on the
Yeah.
live stream on Fight Night. Um, it was built for Reforged. It has a ridiculous amount of CPU blocks in it, so
Let me
it
have a
is not
look.
very practical for vanilla or the tournament by any
Ah,
stretch
you're
of the
fine.
imagination.
Look,
But it does have some good PvP pointers that would be good to imitate and do likewise if you know where to look for them.
right. And I really kind of took that to heart. But looking at this ship, this goods PvP machine, it is 47 million CPU, and our limit
Yeah.
for the tournament is 10 million. So I have to
Yep.
ask, like I didn't ask before, like what is it? The reforged blocks that are taking that much up, or is there something under the hood that maybe you don't have to say if you don't want?
Oh, absolutely. It's the turrets. We were working without turret limits on that tournament, so it was
Aha.
pretty much how many turrets we could compact with how many quantums we could pack in a frame.
Okay.
Because those were kind of the rules then. However, for Rakuna's challenge, is totally not going to work.
Yeah.
It's way overly powered. It's way too reforged, and it's something that would need to be rebuilt from scratch.
Yeah, agreed. So, speaking of which, so where are we starting here? We are starting. Let's go over the rules, the parameters within which I can build. So, we mentioned that for the tournament, there is a 10 million CPU limit. There are
Yep.
no floating blocks, right?
No floating turrets.
Yeah,
Well,
no
I guess
floating turrets,
that by extension could be yes, no floating blocks.
right? And no covered thrusters. I do believe that the vents the vents are okay. If I
Yep.
remember seeing that, I'm that could be a lie. Is that true? Did you see that?
Rakuna's exact words on that were exposed vents can be destroyed, so therefore they are viable. Now,
Okay.
building it inside of this ship and having a little like exhaust port coming out, I don't know how far you would be able to get away with that before. That would be a good question for Rakoona or Johnny to answer,
Right.
because I don't want to tell you, be like, yeah, just build it in the center and then just have an exhaust come out. It's not. That's that's
Yeah,
not
it's a little
okay.
different.
Then you
Uh,
have to rebuild the darn thing. And
so yeah, I think that brings up a good point. I have not spoken direct in depth with any of them uh, about this, but there might be. I'm
uh,
sure there's a lot of finer points that maybe aren't allowed, and maybe it has to do with the block itself. Maybe it has to do with how you stream, what you do beforehand. Any rules you're not? I don't think anyone said you have to build your own ship, but I don't
Um,
think I want to build my own. I want to win or lose, based on my own. Well, it's not going to be my own, but my build with some really expert advice for once. Like that's how I
yeah.
want to sink or swim. So, um,
Well, most of the PvP certified boats on the workshop right now are well, you would have to extensively modify it for this tournament to make the criteria
yeah,
anyways.
I
So
mean,
either way you're gonna have to build.
I am so like I haven't really let on too much, but I am so nervous. Not because I'm afraid of being humiliated, but maybe I don't know exactly why I'm nervous. I've never been nervous for anything. I just want to do good. That's it. So, um, first things first. Oh, let me say hi to everybody. Hey, RJ. Of course. Glad to see you
Hey,
here,
RJ.
Jeffo. William Story. Come on, Mike, pick up the pace. Hey, Weekend Warrior. Excellent. Good to see you here, man. Long time no talk. And by that, I mean I haven't talked to you since yesterday's stream where you said hi. Um, okay, so let me get started. I got all this nonsense here just from goofing around the other day. Get rid of all that. So let me start with the basics. My capital starter. Um, I learning about PvP in the modern age, like I was surprised at how much plastic is involved in pro builds. And you guys, if you've hung around the channel at all, I build uh, what I think are tanks in my mind, but typically can't stand up to any fire because they're slow, they're heavy, and they're combat steel throughout, or worse. So there's a lot of plastic, and I'm guessing you're going to recommend quite a few Xeno blocks, correct?
Well, the four different or the several different types of armors that you can choose is plastic, iron, hardened steel, combat steel, or Xeno. So
Right.
Xeno steel currently has the highest HP with if I could find nope, it's not gonna say that on block.
Yeah, and it's
Uh,
lighter than combat steel too, from what I recall, right?
yes, it and hardened steel. I don't know if it's the same on vanilla. I'm gonna assume that it's the same on vanilla. But
Okay.
it and hardened steel is the lightest one outside of plastic.
All right. So one thing about the stream too, I should mention, guys. I said that this was going to be like a members only series of me building. I wanted the first stream to be like for everybody, just so you know that I'm serious. So everyone knows that I'm in this, and a yes, that I actually am building. But I think my regular streams obviously are not going to be members only. But after this, just for the sake of keeping some kind of wrap on my build, so not everybody knows precisely block by block, what it's made of, and how I did it, to look for exploits to see a subpar YouTuber get humiliated. Um, well, if you want to leak about it, you can make a subpar YouTuber get humiliated for as low as $1.99 a month with memberships. So I kind of wrestled with that. I don't want to seem scummy, like a bait and switch, but this is more just I wanted everyone to know I'm serious and I am building. So enough with that. So I do want to say I like I kind of like this style, this one all the way on the end, the Tormenta, outside of the angles, like the block angles that I know I'm not going to be able to build, or actually more like its neighbor here, the Lycor interests. I like that
Okay.
style. Um,
Um, what I typically like to have on point for reference when I'm building just because I'm horrible at shaping too, is work with shapes by, I believe, Baron. He kind of has a cutout of different shapes and how they kind of go along with each other.
Right.
That for people who are impatient enough that they don't want to see, the different combinations that are possible, can kind of have a visual reference.
Yeah.
So there, I spawned it right in front of the monsoon.
Okay. Where? Where? Oh, I see. Oh, I should be building over there, huh?
Well, I mean, you're a
Makes
god, buddy.
sense.
It's not like you can sit back and forth.
Hey, work. Oh, ooh. This is like those like busy boards that you give to like 2-year-olds to learn shapes.
Yeah, basic shapes.
This is
Like it is, you
Mike's
put the
first busy board.
That's pretty good. It's a legit thing.
It is. I have to say, it absolutely is. All right, so let's do this. Well, I better back it up here. I can always move it later when I add thrust, but let's do at least here. I do want the core to be surrounded. Well, you know what? There's a very good chance I'll move the core later, but I tend to like to, build around the core. It's going to be big enough that that is a possibility. I my builds have been like criminally small for CVs. Like I build what they turn out to be as like heavy SVs. Let's take away that, you, and you.
Uh, then another thing that might help too is like, let's say you wanted to build on a plane. You can do like one little stretch by just holding down the mouse button, but if you hit, let's see, is it
Control.
Control or Alt? There you go. You can
Yeah.
also get it layered. I didn't know if you did that. I just learned that like 2 days ago, so
Oh.
that's why I said that.
Okay, so I'm looking over there, and I mean, I'm not trying to like sit here and paint the naked lady, but I do want to put the frame of this out, and the frame for now is going to be Xeno Steel. I could very easily go back and change that later, but yeah, how am I going to do this? So I kind of asked this yesterday, but like in building, do you tend to build like the frame first, or do you do the important components first? Do you do the outside shape? Uh, what do you typically do in starting?
Uh, on the PvP builds, I've typically been building like from the inside out. So
Okay,
like let's say this is going to be the cockpit area. I'd put the cockpit and then like I would space out the fuel tanks and the oxygen tanks at least one block apiece to prevent chain reaction
right.
in case I got hit, and then
Now, here's the debate that I've heard or seen, and typically gets cleared up. But like, I know obviously you got to space them to prevent secondaries, but um, do you put a layer of blocks in between them? Does that do anything, or does it depend on the strength of the blast hitting it?
let me see. Let me look at Carnage real fast. Be able to give you a better answer on that.
Okay, so here is the bottom of the superstructure. Cockpit is going to be up here. Is this even close to big enough? Like, I'm already in territory of like the biggest CV I've ever built, and I know it's not going to be big enough. So, there's my answer. The answer is no, it's not big enough.
Okay, so on Carnage, I used the Xeno blocks to break up or to separate all of my fuel. Um, a little thing that I picked up from Reforged, I don't know if it's going to be particularly viable on vanilla,
Yeah.
would be using uh, the heavy blocks. See if I can get some out. As you can see from the hit points, it has 1,500 hit points versus the Xenoblock being 2,750.
Right.
But it is. That's not going to show me how much it weighs. That sucks.
Yeah, I think you can see what it weighs when it's in your inventory.
Okay, so mass is 880 kilograms versus the Xenoblock is 2.6 tons.
Wow. So,
So
yeah, think about that. I mean,
for slightly less of the HP, which let me put something else down. A carbon block has 200 HP. See if I can find.
yeah, let me do a, I'm going to do a quick side-by-side on my view as well so we can actually see what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, 1,500 hit points. It doesn't say. Okay, verse. So you get an additional 1,750 hit points at a Xeno, but my God, the weight difference.
Yep.
880 kilograms versus 2.6 tons. So,
Yep. A steel block is worth 500 hit points.
Okay. These are all things that I should have figured out a long time ago,
Well,
but that's okay. Like,
it's stuff that you can do if you need to cut weight down, because you can still, even if you put the Xenoblocks down, and like let's say you have a finished product and whatever you're shooting for your weight to be, if
yeah,
it's way over, you can easily swap that out for these windows, and it'll
right.
drastically cut the weight of the ship down, which increases its performance.
And that's just it. Like, I've found it in smaller builds, and maybe it's the same here, that like having the heavy stuff concentrated in the center with the thrust outside tends to perform better. I don't know if that's your experience or not, or if that even makes a difference, but
Well, we're operating under exposed thrusters for the tournament, and in PvP that is like a huge monumental thing, because most of your PvP ships are buried under blocks and are at the very rear of the ship.
yeah.
So they're going to be one of the last things to go if you get overwhelmed. But since the thrusters have to be exposed for this tournament,
Right.
where you place your thrusters is going to be extremely important.
Right. And I have an idea of like how I want to handle that. I do want to go get clarification on what constitutes an exposed thruster. Because there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot you could play with there to argue, well, it's buried like 10 blocks deep, but technically it's not covered,
Right.
We were kind of talking about that the other day, but I don't want to be that guy. Or maybe I do,
Right.
because that is how to win, I think. So, yeah, you beat me to it. This is about the configuration I was looking for, but like, is it wise to keep the thrusters that close together? Do they set off secondaries? Well, I think everything does, but
Well, the rule for turrets would be is at least 3 spaces, not including the armor that it's holding it on.
okay,
So it's probably a pretty good idea for thrusters too, in case of chain reactions, to at least have it 3+ blocks apart. I just
yeah,
did this for reference because typically I found that when your thrusters are exposed and on the very edge or away from the center of mass, your uh, stats drastically improve, which is also going to be another thing that we're going to need to worry about too, because if you can't move your ship in battle, then a faster ship is going to be able to move up on you and
yeah.
overwhelm you very easily. Versus, if you're on the same playing field as them, then they're not going to be able to overwhelm you as fast.
Huh. I know it's that game of, you know, what are you willing to trade off? And typically when I build, like, I don't want to trade off anything. I want it to be an invincible tank. I also want it to move like a fighter jet. And that's why I'm, you know, part of the reason I wanted to do this tournament is it's going to force me to actually do a serious build. And, you know, like, that's... It's so scary. It's really scary.
Yeah, it is a lot different going up against another human being than it is some NPC ship made by Vermilion or Jay Randall.
Yeah. Yep.
Because things you can count on with the NPC ships doing, you can't rely on a human to do. And the human-based turrets are way different than the NPC turrets too, which is another thing you need to worry about.
I know. Yeah, that's son of a bitch. Well, oh,
Okay,
you mean like his unmanned, like the automatic turrets on the ship, right?
Yeah, your human turrets
Oh, what am I doing?
on vanilla are like spot on accurate.
Shit.
The vanilla turrets or the NPC turrets aren't nearly as accurate in some cases. I haven't tested fully. Well, I just went up against about 3 Toveras. They're accurate, but they don't perform in the same way.
Right.
So that's another thing you have to take into account too.
Oh my god, I've... I had a minor button slip. This is not what I meant to do at all. Okay. I am going to work with some of this, but holy crap, I forgot to put symmetry plane on. Because I'm such a pro builder. Oh my god. This is high quality content right here.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So really what I want to do without placing like too many of like my vital components is just get the shape down. Like, and a lot of this I'll probably end up going back, like, because this is a lot of Xeno steel and it's heavy. I think I'm already kind of pushing it when it comes to weight. So let me get rid of all this.
Yeah, the two different styles that I've seen pretty much have been like a T-shaped ship, where the thrusters would be at the 2 points, and then the front end would be where you would directly face the enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other more tankier builds that are more just look like a solid line shape-wise. I mean, those would be the two that I would advise you to build on.
Yeah, and yesterday you did convince me that being able to at least come close to keeping the enemy in front of you, or at least, you know, being able to have that maneuver to keep whatever direction of the ship you would like to have facing the enemy, to be able to do that. And that's why one of the reasons I was so surprised at all the plastic, because that never occurred to me. You know, I'm just a smash 'em all kind of guy. So,
well, I mean, you can correct me because you'd probably know more about this than I would. But my basic understanding is like the Predator drone is more lighter framework and a lighter materials made out of it. It's not heavy. Now the more interesting stuff like battleships or tanks or stuff like that, I'm gonna assume are made out of more heavier materials. But
yeah. Yeah, the Predator and the Reaper drone are they're actually quite light. Like, they're in a lot of cases they're lighter than the payload they carry. You know, they just have
Right.
a lot of power.
So the important part is to build it to what it's going to be doing, which this is going to be delivering a whole lot of punishment and being able to take a whole lot of punishment at the same time.
So in doing like the wings and such, the reason I'm not gonna go or Xenosteel all the way out because that is way too heavy, and you know having floating turrets due to enemy fire is not my fault. I think, you know, if people blow off this part and my turrets end up floating around, I don't think they're gonna call the match.
Now, the only way that they would call it for floating turrets is if you have it set up exactly like Carnage is right now, where they're
Right.
actually floating. But if they are attached to their ship, then I believe that they are illegal.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. All right, so I'll do. This is the reason I built that so far out. There's my generators, and those are probably going to move at some point. One to throw off any would-be saboteurs, not saboteurs, but people who would be able to benefit from this.
Yeah, your baits on your build are like one of the most important things too, because your baits is going to be directing the enemy fire into positions that you want it to be hitting your ship.
Right. Which
So
in this
there,
case would be the front. I would want that in the front. Right?
right,
Okay.
front and on the sides.
So RJ says to put the baby Jennies in the front. And I think that there is wisdom in that.
Yep, that's good advice.
Okay, so yeah, I do want to build kind of around that. This looks like a, what does that look like? Ah, it looks like a cross up on the pulpit. Yeah, that's what it looks like, except dumb. Okay.
It could be a bomber, one of those old school bombers.
Yeah, yeah, I could. A lot of this is going to get filled in, and obviously there's going to be some terracing going on here to kind of build this up and up and up. But, okay, so baby Jennies. Let me get some thrusters here for measurement, just kind of like what you showed me. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I got to get used to only having 4 types of thrusters.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of differences between vanilla and reforged. But the good thing about it is if you played for reforged at a length of time, vanilla is super duper easy in comparison.
yeah, unless you're going up against a bunch of a-holes like you, Venom. To you, it's easy. I'm sure that is true. So yeah, and one of these ships, I saw an interesting design element that I would like to stick with, and that is this. Now, if it isn't painfully obvious why, I'm not going to say it out loud, just because I don't have to, and know you are. So there we go.
Those might not work.
What do you, as far as you mean,
Oh,
decoys?
those are yeah, all thrusters need to be exposed.
That's exposed,
Oh, okay.
right?
I
Oh
thought you were gonna put a layer underneath it, but okay.
no, no. Um, because the way I have it envisioned is that it's gonna have a lot of thrust a certain direction, so it's gonna fire at this right here, like you know it does, and then it's gonna miss. I would like to be fast enough to where this stuff misses, so I need to actually reconsider what type, not just having xenoblocks here, but like the shape of the xenoblocks, because that matters too. Like they don't, all the different shapes don't all weigh the same. Um, yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, let me do just the slightest bit of shaping in a way that keeps the generators exposed or the thrusters exposed, but not the jennies. I don't think this counts as buried thrusters, right? If I leave one side open, I guess I'll find out. And this will be an easy enough fix.
Right.
Or maybe I should put no block at all. Yeah, I think I should do no block at all. Like, why? Why would I do that? I guess from the sides. In case someone gets around me. Like you said, if two trailer park girls go around the outside.
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to be able to do that. Alright, well, no, that needs to be covered, so let's do this. We'll go like this. At least the generator is covered in that way, so good. Alright, so I guess what I'm doing here is actually building the hard points first. Is that smart? I feel like maybe that isn't smart.
Um,
Like, I shouldn't be building the
you
distractions
when I'm
first when I don't know where the important shit's going, right?
yeah. I mean, the two different ways that I build would be from the inside out, or like here. Let's say I want to build a ship that's going to be 100 blocks long and then like 50 blocks wide.
Right.
What I would do is capital. Get mirror mode on it. If I can get mirror mode on it, why isn't that? Oh, that's because I couldn't see it. Okay. So I'm already starting at 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Where'd you go? Are you above me?
I'm right next to you.
Oh. Oh, okay, yeah. I see. I see. I think.
Okay, this is gonna be a dramatic example.
Okay. I'm listening. Take me to school. Oh, shit. Here we go. I do want to get, like, into the pointy missile debate. Like, no. The CV has to have a pointy nose. Otherwise, it doesn't work. That could have been a good bit, and I just ruined it. Okay. Alright.
So it's 242 meters by 172 meters. So
Okay.
totally not what I said at all, but it's a good example. So now that I'm obviously with this one going to be building a T-shaped ship, so I'm going to be wanting this to be the smaller end, and then the 2 points coming out the sides are going to be my wings.
Right.
That might help too. Don't build that big.
I
About
won't.
half of that would work for a PvP ship, but
Yeah, that is a lot of texturing that I'm just not in the mood for.
Oh yeah, texturing.
which is the real key to having a successful build. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that. Yeah, but realistically, I think for Carnage, texturing and all of that nice stuff took me around 2 or 3 hours, and I was a very basic texturing. I didn't really do a whole lot of anything special because, I mean, it's a PvP ship.
Yeah.
You know, it's all going to be bloodied up anyways. So, but other people do really like having a beautiful ship to be able to look at. It's all subjective.
Yeah. I just don't care. But and it shows, which is the problem. Um. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing here. I keep looking and catching myself, and I'm like, I am not building anywhere near big enough,
Nah.
and it's gonna be a problem because I don't know that it's not like weight classes where they're like, nope, nope, you're just too heavy. You two can't fight. You show up with what you have ready to fight. So, okay, so come back this way, and I'm gonna have to come up. Let me just build kind of like a spine here to start to get the height of what I am trying to do. We'll be coming off of this at odd angles, right? Where's the naked girl I'm painting? Here. There. Yeah, it looks exactly like that. Fucking hell, man. What am I doing? Um okay, well it's going to be like a really sloppy process watching me get to what is in my head. Like I have what I want in my head. Done. It's just a matter of recreating that, and I've never been good at it. Like I've always like really struggled with drawing, you know? And it's actually gotten worse with time. So like anything that has to do with creativity, like Legos, I'm good at because those come like, snap together, but this, oof. And like I got worse and dumber. Like I got my bell rung a few times just, throughout life. Like particularly like Iraq where like, we really got a good dusting off. And like I can remember like I didn't just pull out crayons and start trying to draw. I wasn't panicking like, oh my god, am I worse at crayons? But like it was fairly obvious. Like when I was trying to draw a diagram for someone, I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is the disconnect? So whatever was there got worse. Like a lot worse. So this is hard for me. And no, I'm not saying that so you feel sorry for me. I am very deserving of like every bit of criticism I get for my building. I kind of revel in it. So, I mean, don't feel weird or anything. But, so I'm not going to stop being bad at this. Okay, so let me get a measuring stick here. Which thruster? Bigger is always better if you have the CPU for it, as far as I know. At least it is in Reforged. Like efficiency-wise. Like the amount of thrust you're getting. Let's have a look at it here. Okay. Force, 920 meganewtons for, wow, that is a lot lower than in, like, Reforged Eden, which is odd. So, the next one
It's
down, huh?
it's actually the opposite. There's the thrusters are way more overpowered in vanilla than
Wait, are
Reforged.
they? Why do I seem to remember, like kilonewton thrusts? Or, oh, yeah, duh. Kilo is less than mega, Mike. You dumb. Okay, so anyway, looking at this, the largest thruster, 920 meganewtons. The next size down is 192. And granted, you are paying for that in CPU. Now, oh God, I would need a calculator to break that down. Which one is more
Well,
efficient? Oh
I've
wait, no,
actually
53,000 CPU,
the thruster power I can't tell you, but I can tell you with
half a
CPU
million.
values and HP values, one XL thruster, I believe that's what it's called in vanilla,
Yeah,
is worth four large thrusters. However, the HP on the large thrusters are equivalent to five large thrusters. But the
yeah,
thrust of four large thrusters is pretty inferior to the thrust on one large. So
gotcha.
you can either do several larges spread out everywhere, or you
Yeah.
can just have large thrusters.
Well, in this case, I want to have a certain direction be like my go-to and not just forward, you know what I mean? So in this case, let's say I wanted to have like direction Z be a big part of like the strategy that I have for building this ship. As far as movement and combat, like I feel like I I would maybe have one or two XL thrusters to kind of boost because I don't want all of my eggs in one basket. I'm not going to have like all of my thrust be in the form of XL. In this case, I think it is better to have them spread out because that's spreading out the enemy fire, and if you take one out, not the end of the world, you know. And
Eh,
placed brainly, if you place them brainly, then it's going to take them a while to knock out each one. So
And
that's my
every minute
thinking.
that you can stay in the fight is going to be crucial on winning it.
So is that something you would recommend, or do you think I should just forego the XLs altogether?
Um, I think I used I used my XLs as my primaries, but I used the larges as baits.
Gotcha. Okay. So
It did hurt my performance a little bit, which kind of it hurt quite a bit, but you know, it's just the trade-offs they're gonna have.
yeah. So I mean, in this case, I want what I want to have happen. Let's go to my stats here. Uh, I would like my pitch to be my most powerful like attribute out of all the four directions. Like rolling, great, yaw, great, but I want my pitch to really have some kick-assery. You know what I mean? That's too close together. Um, let's pretend, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that I want to have a lot of down thrust as part of this. So for
Okay.
primaries, I mean, by primaries before you said, would that be like your forward thrust?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like pretty much every direction on the build altogether is XLs.
Right. Okay, because see, like I placed 3 and I'm already up to 1.6 million because I screwed up when I was talking before. Like I was talking about the HP, not the CPU. The CPU on these are a fucking nightmare, man. The CPU on an XL thruster is 533,000, over half a million, versus a large thruster at 13,000. So, I mean, you're paying, you know, you get what you pay for, but my God, are you paying for it?
Yeah, I mean they're the fastest thruster though on vanilla, so I mean it's definitely something that needs to be on your boat.
Yeah, and that's the hell with it, is I gotta have it, so. Ugh. Oh, wait, no, I was looking at the
I
wrong
mean
one.
the
No, 133,000. Not 13,000. That was I was looking at the medium thruster. So 133,000 for the large versus half million. So let's see, place 4 of the large thrusters. Let's see, that's about half a million, almost exactly.
it's Yep, but the thrust yeah, the 4 thrusters all together won't equal. I forget how many. I think it was maybe 5 or 6.5.
Yeah,
So
you're not
you're
coming
better off.
anywhere close to it.
Yeah,
You're
you're better off with using, in my opinion, unless you want your ship to like have thrusters all the way around it, because
yeah.
some people do like that. I think
uh,
on a PvP build though, that would be a bad idea because that's all thing potential targets.
it is. And you're spreading damage, and a lot of unintentional things can happen, especially if you're trying to draw fire to a certain location, like to the hard points. I don't want
Yep.
to have hard points all over my ship. I want to have plastic, like you said. And plastic is not going to protect a thruster. Like, that's going to buy me, what, like 2 seconds apiece if they're guarded by
Yeah,
plastic?
yeah, it's not good armor. It's good for if you want to make your ship look pretty, but you don't want to add any weight to it.
Right.
Plastic is awesome. Uh, but as for your main armor, no, you're not going to want to use that.
Okay. So, the framework. Let me do frame right here. So, it's going to be a little bit higher up. So, do the frame because I want this terraced going upwards before I do the spirally Medusa thing like you did, which is
I
kind
don't
of
think the
nutty.
spiraling Medusa is going to help out too much in vanilla, unfortunately.
Good point. Shit. Ah, man. Well, this is gonna be
Well,
good, all in all. Like, cause I'm gonna learn from you. I'm gonna learn a lot from you, and I'm gonna learn in the tournament. Once it kicks
yeah,
off. So,
we got 2 weeks, 2 weeks and some change to do this, so we got plenty of time to come up with something, redo it. I mean, it's plenty enough time.
okay, you're right. You're right. So let me build the housing for this thing. At least the upper thrust. What is this too high? No, no, it's not too high because I'm gonna have a ship like no one else has ever seen. Because no one else would build what I'm gonna build. And it's not because I'm so good. Actually, yeah, we're gonna do this. I guess I should. Yeah, okay, let me actually bring this down. And I'll clean that up later. This is way too high. Way too high. So let's do this. This is gonna like loosely the spine of the ship. That there's gonna be some more shape to it than that. I promise you. Just trying to get the outside, so I envision it coming thusly. Well, I should actually catch up with you guys. Hey, Bad Pilot! Long time no see, man. Thanks for coming out. Decoy gens to draw turret targeting generators? Yes. That is exactly what I'm doing. Jeff Awup. Is there size class limit in the tournament? No. I don't think. Is that true, Venom? I don't think there's size class. I
Yeah,
think it's...
your size class limits. He said nothing to engineer to create lag.
Okay. So that...
That was his.
That's a good answer, because that kind of tells you what to do. Like, if you have that many devices that you know what you're doing, then don't do what you're doing. But essentially, like, the biggest throttle here is the CPU. Like, that can kind of arrest your ambitions for having like a mega size class. Because again, if you don't know, like, the size class mostly just counts what you have on board your ship, not necessarily like its dimensions. So this is a hard point, which will draw a lot of fire. Man, it's going to take... God, man, I forget how big these thrusters are. And, like, one of my biggest problems, as you guys know, has been placing thrusters way too close to life support areas, or just generally accessible areas of the ship, like where you have to walk by it. And you don't just get toasted, but you get irradiated. So, let me just do this. We're going to go... Oh. Why did I not just do this to begin with? I don't know. Just like to make things difficult. So yeah, Jeff, that was... Sorry, I didn't... I think that answered your question. And again, like, I do have to go talk to the guys to get clarification, but Venom's up on, like, everything PvP. So, like, he's really the guy to ask. Sorry to throw you under the bus, man.
Oh, you're good.
So I'm going to do something that I, in my mind, which is all that matters, does not constitute a covered thruster. Because I can actually cover that with the vents, which is exactly what I'm going to do. But I'm making... It doesn't matter what you're making, Mike. Stop talking and do. Okay. So, vents. I don't have any vent blocks, or shutters, I think they're called. Right? Yeah, shutters. Did you see that, Venom? I know Empyrion stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but I did. I did the thing. Okay.
I like it.
Alright. Wait, let's go like this. We'll go like that. Haha! Ha! I made a hard point, Venom. I did a good thing again. Shit. I'm gonna end up remodeling this.
That too, I mean, it's not overly important, but when you put the triangle blocks in,
Yeah.
if you go one down and go for cut corner E, boom.
Ooh.
It looks smoother.
Ah. Cut corner E, you say?
Yep.
Okay.
Should be right next to corner half A3, which would be what you would use to fill in this corner.
Corner C. Nope, nope. Corner half. Double B2. Corner half B. A2. A3. There we go. Wow, I've never really known which block to use for that. This one just didn't seem to fit quite right, but that's because I wasn't really paying attention either. So corner half for the bottom part. Oh, for the bottom part you said corner half A3.
Yep.
Okay. Well, what the hell's the top one then? Corner C?
Um, that's a very good question.
Yeah, what how do I do? I mean, I guess I could do like corner half B. I think that would work. No, that would not work. What if I flip her around and do her from this side? Shut up, Mike. Kid friendly. Um yeah. I mean, it's not the worst shaping I've ever done, but it does stick out, doesn't it? Yep, that does not work. Oh my god. Does that... It kind of doesn't work. Corner C works. I mean, that looks a lot like corner half A3. What did you use right here? Oh, okay, that's...
Did I give you false information?
No.
Corner half A3?
No, you did. You told
Yeah.
me the right thing. I'm easily confused.
Well, there's
Okay.
like 500 different block combinations on it, so it's like Legos without any instructions. So it is very confusing.
Yeah, for me. Oh, wait.
And me too.
Wait, that's corner half A3? On the bottom? Oh, is it upside down? Does that help? I don't know if that's big
Since
enough.
you use the, what is that? The
Corner
corner
C,
C.
then yeah, it looks goofy.
See if I can't.
This is like, I'm not letting this go. I don't care if it's bad streaming.
Well, it would work with that.
Which one is that?
It's just a regular block.
Oh. Yeah, how about we just do that? And
Okay.
the back will have the cool shape that I'll
I've
never
got some
know.
rounded ones too on the opposite one if you want to look at.
Yes, I
Just
do.
to throw out some ideas. I'm not very good at this at all. Like, but I know enough to get by.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah. If you
Look
kind
at
of
you
wanted to go
building
with
this masterpiece over here. That's not fair.
yeah, that's Carnage kind of just off the top of my head without really looking at it. I was trying to build something to give you an example.
Yeah, I see. I see what you mean. So you do have your like important bits surrounded by Xeno, or at least framed out in Xeno. I see. Because this
Yeah,
is what I'm really looking at here is the containers, which I did not think of yet.
yeah, the warp drive and the shield would probably get moved however many blocks I went out on this one, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would probably go the same length out here
Gotcha.
on the other side of the fuel tanks away from the main. So
Oh, fuck.
that's kind of where I did mess up at. But
Well, yeah, I kind of see the overall theme is everything has its own space.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, in a way.
There you go. So if I was looking, okay, that is way off because I put it right exactly where I put it the first time. Okay.
Oh, good night, RJ. Thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah, night,
And
RJ.
Timo says we could use the armored glass. I don't know if you caught like the first part of the stream. We did examine that. So yeah, it is a good option for certain parts of the ship. Um, and I may use it. I don't know yet. We will see. So I should have done all of this in Xeno. Can I upgrade? I can upgrade. Right?
Well, do you know the replace block command?
Um, the command?
Yeah.
I do
Like
not.
let's say you totally screwed this up and you put like way more plastic and steel where it really needed. If you hit your squiggly line right above tab, I can't
Yep.
remember the name
Tilde.
of it. Hit in DI, that will give you the ID number of the ship. then you just put replace blocks, and for this is 7007.
You said NDI?
DI. I'm sorry.
DI.
I'll
Oh,
give you
oh,
the,
okay, yeah, I know DI.
and then you look at the blocks that you want to replace, which I'm looking at plastic full large. So you just write out plastic full large, and then let's say if you want to go to Xeno, you go to a Xeno block that's what you want, and it is called alien full large, and then voila.
Oh. Wait, okay, so you got debug on. You look at
Yep.
what
Like
you want to replace.
with this iron, I'm assuming you want to replace that.
Yeah.
So you hit your thing. You now have your numbers, so you put in replace blocks, and then the
Oh.
ID number of it, which is 7007,
Gotcha.
and then you're going to be wanting to replace hull full large. So you type in that first, which if you look at when you're looking at the block, it will tell you out of all of the information that pops up on the DI menu. Uh, you're going to be wanting hull full large, and then you go look at the Xeno block. It'll tell you alien full large.
Okay, so in this, you type out replace blocks and separate
The ID
command
number.
by itself. Okay.
Yep.
So replace blocks, IDs, yep, 7007.
Yep.
And then
And
you
then,
put the second number, right?
nope, you put the block that you want to replace, which in this case is the the regular steel,
Oh, right.
uh, which his name is hull full large.
Okay, I
But
gotcha. Yeah, making sense. I,
it
man.
is a pretty way overly complicated in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
So replace block 7007, whole full large, alien full large.
Yep.
Spaces in between those, not the name of the block, but like replace
Um,
space block space 7007 space whole full large space alien full large.
yep.
Cool. I did not know these things. Unknown command. Fucking hell.
Uh-oh.
Replace blocks?
Yeah. Let's see. Here, can I type in chat?
Yeah.
What is the chat? Okay.
Period.
Uh, did you see that?
Oh, okay, yeah. I put a stray space, so
Okay.
let me do this. There we go, and boink. Replace 96 blocks. All right. Sweet. All right. Thanks, man. I did not know that. I don't know how I did not know that. Okay, so yeah, now I do want to think about my where I am placing my cargo containers, but I am not actually going to do that. Not on this stream.
Yeah,
This
I think it's a
stream,
good idea.
I'm doing just the frame. I have to hold myself to that. Yeah, this is kind of a tall ship. It's kind of a wide ship, so I don't know how. No, I know how. I know how. You guys just trust. Just trust. If you can. So yeah, now I do want to start to connect things here. But yeah, guys, I'm not just trying to be a dick and try to like show my own like channel membership and Patreon. Like, I genuinely just don't want this to necessarily be widespread info. And if you want to join my Patreon, then rip me off and screw me over and tell everyone where all my soft, gooey bits are, then fucking sweet. Good job. But yeah, I think I'm getting dangerously close to putting important stuff down. Let's get a look for perspective. Holy crap, am I nowhere near big enough? What CPU are you at already?
Me?
Yeah.
5 million or 5.6 million.
Okay, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, all I've got is turrets left and armoring.
You won't need a warp drive, will you? Good question. I don't think so. Although I think you do have to show up on the system unless they warp you in. I really hope I don't need a warp drive. I wasn't planning on putting one. So that is something.
Or you add the warp drive just for bait.
That is true. Because you can target the warp drive. And, like, if they're targeting nothing at all, then, like, if they haven't set the targets, then the guns can sometimes choose to shoot at whatever they want. And a warp drive is an expensive piece of machinery, but in this case, it is nigh on useless. Okay, so I am gonna extend my ship somewhat. Not that I'm not building to like fit a certain size. That's really not it. Hey, Dave. You just tuned in. Am I building a Borg cube? No, I am not. I am not. If you just tuned in, I have a professional PvPer who's schooling me, who's just casually over there building a machine of death like it's no big deal. Well, I'm struggling with just the outline. It's great. But no, Venom is taking his time to teach me some stuff, and it has been an eye-opening experience. Like I mentioned this earlier, but like plastic, for example, like the amount of plastic that is used in modern day PvP machines was really shocking to me. And I guess it shouldn't be, you know, like thinking it out, it makes sense that that would be the case, that there would be a lot of plastic, uh, just to kind of give it some volume, you know, and have something to explode and to make it lighter so you can maneuver, fire and maneuver. Like, I don't want to build a tank, but I get like this sinking feeling the more I do this and the more I'm like picturing how this is going to go, that it is going to be a tank. It's going to be too small and it'll be a tank. But with the XL thrusters, it will be able to move. And I can't. It's been so long since I played anything in vanilla that I don't really know like what the modern flight mechanics are. I haven't had that experience lately, so
It's like imagining Reforged on a certain stimulant drug that people take that makes them go really, really fast. That's kind of like what it's like.
nice. Speed, cocaine, crack.
I didn't know if I could say those on YouTube.
Sorry, I know you did the right thing, and I went and fucked it. So okay, that was good. Uh,
Oh no. See, do you know the cutting and pasting tool?
here?
Yeah,
No.
it might help you. Like, let's say that okay, this length right here, you love how it's built, but you need to extend it out, right? If you go up to it, you press N and you hit selection
Mm-hmm.
on the building menu, and then you click on it, and you click the the circle with all the crosshairs in the middle, you
Right.
can actually go however you want to, or what you want to cut out. And then, like, let's say you wanted to like completely remove that part, and so you can do that, and then unhit selection, and then hit selection again after you have the piece, and then paste it in, and
See, crazy. I knew that was there. I never really bothered to learn it. Like,
if you want to save yourself from having to rebuild that whole entire section,
yeah.
I mean, I pasted it exactly. I think where it was at. Yeah.
Looks right. Yeah, that looks right.
So, but like, let's say you wanted to extend this out to make the ship bigger, you could do that.
I see. So yeah, if you wanted to duplicate, like if I wanted this section and I wanted to do it again
Yeah. You
for
can do duplication too.
widthiness.
You can cut and you can copy.
Let's see. I need some measuring sticks here for weapons. Let's see. So I'm gonna get artillery. I think laser turrets and projectile turrets have the same kind of dimensions. Maybe. So let's see. I want to get that. I want to get that. I know I always underestimate how big artillery pieces are. I think they're 5 by 5 by 2. Yeah. Why can I not place? Don't tell me I can't place this. Oh, wait. That's because I'm doing selection.
Oh.
There we go. No, that's
right,
not.
well,
why?
I don't mean to leave you hanging, but I need to go pick up my wife, so I
Oh,
have to leave.
okay. I see how it is. That's cool. Fine.
Yeah, my bad.
Just going to pick up your wife and be like a responsible person. Well,
Yeah,
fine.
I have my moments.
Yeah, well, when I lose, it's squarely on your shoulders. So, I mean, if you can live with it, that's fine.
Take care.
All right, man. Thanks again. Okay, so what did it say? Oh, this is a ground-based artillery piece. So, all right, let me ditch that. I forgot to hit the how do you do. There we go. I thought that there was like not the right amount of turrets. So, rocket turrets, yeah, that's ground-based, I think. Or does it matter? No, that's the rocket turrets. Okay. Here we go. So this is my measuring stick. Now, you can't have buried turrets either, from what I gather. Like, they can't be so far completely enclosed that like it's impossible to hit them, like where the barrel's just sticking out. So I do want to see, like, if I were to put this on top. Like that. I mean, the fire's already being drawn right here. Some, like, maybe it would be wise. Because if they're targeting turrets, generators, or thrusters, they're going after this hard point. But I had better build this in a way to be able to withstand that kind of jack. You know what I mean? So that if they're targeting anything at all, it can be guaranteed for the most part that this is going to be where they're shooting. But I'm not sure. Again, I wish I had the benefits of like some sort of any sort of real PvP experience, but I don't. Turrets soak up the CPUs too. Yes, sir, they do. What am I up to? I haven't even really put anything else here. Okay, almost to 3 million. Plastic inner structure. Yes, that is mostly what I'm going to do, but also, like, here, I was very surprised. Like, it's not just inner structure. Look at this. All of this is carbon. And this is a PvP machine. All of it. See, going up here? Carbon substrate. Carbon substrate. And again, because they don't care, this part they don't care. If, like, the turrets get blasted off, then, or this part gets blasted off, you know, now it's a floating turret, which is kind of dickish, but, you know, hey, they didn't do it. It was blown off, so it's different. But yeah, like, look at this. This thing is almost all plastic. Now, this is Xeno steel block. And I think what they made here was layers of lag shot armor. I can't be sure. That would make this an older build, but I mean, look how far buried their artillery cannons are, or rocket launcher, I'm sorry. Like, that is buried far. I don't think that is going to fly in this tournament. Oh yeah, look at this. More rocket launchers. I never even thought of doing that. I mean, in PvE, it's not as important. Like, if you buried this under... Well, it is buried under Xeno Steel, so... You can kind of see how they're distributing that. Like, because by the end of it, maybe 3-4 minutes into the fight of sustained fighting, you know, all this is blown away, but they still have the Xeno Steel blocks underneath. Like, I would like to make my ship a little bit more hardy than that. I don't know that I want to, leave the outside, you know, that poorly protected. But again, what do I know? Again, this is like my first tournament ever. So, we're going to see. I just hope this hard point is hard enough. That's all I'm saying. That was... Ooh, let me take that off. Okay, let me clean this up and get, like, even if it's just a block shape, I want it to have the same protection all around, clearly. And there's the baby Jennies for distraction. You would think, I don't know. I don't know that anyone actually targets generators, like, early on in a fight anyway. But if they did, and they didn't take out the artillery turrets, this would be a prime target. And I would actually like this to be lower than the rest of the ship, because this is going to be staggered, and I want the fire to kind of be able to sail through, if you know what I mean. So, like, if I made that part down here, if I used the cut and paste tool like Venom showed me, then yes. Okay, let's do that. Will that be good enough? So if that whole part came down here, that would be the wing, and it would be drawing fire away to the bottom of the ship. Yeah, I think that seems right to me. It seems right to me, the guy with no experience, but hey. I gotta start somewhere, guys. We'll see. All right. So, oh, Dave says can't have the turret buried. Says who? PvP rules, the game engine, or what? I thought all's fair in love and war. On my server, Dave, I don't know if you ever had the pleasure of playing on my Empyrion server. It is damn near anything goes. Like, it is the Wild West. Like, including, like, crazy rules. Like, the only place that resources respawn is on, like, the starter worlds. Killing each other on the starter worlds is legal. You can bury a thruster all you want. Bury till your heart's content. It'd probably limit the functionality of it, but no, that's the tournament rules. And the tournament I'm talking about, it's one, I think it was initially brought up by a player named Rakoona who will be co-hosting the event with Spanj. So they'll be like the announcers. So that's going to be so much fun, guys. I'm like really, really looking forward to that. Scale selection. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I did nothing. What is my selection? How does one select? Alright, well, I will figure that out, guys. I'll play around with it. Wait. Replace. Set selection to blueprint part. Scale selection. Ooh, okay. So I'll figure that out, but guys, I think I got the basic idea down. Now, I know it looks like garbage, and I expected it to because, like, what is in my head versus what gets translated into this canvas of ours, like, I knew it would be rough because I've come to the realization that, you know, maybe my brain works a little bit different than everyone else's, but yeah, I think I'm on the right track. And they even got me baby's first Empyrion block shape book right here, which is really nice. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I really do want to make you guys as much a part of this as you can be, without it turning into some bizarre bullshit that everyone gets pissed off and walks away from. Speaking of which, pardon me, these streams, the building of, again, are going to be viewable by my Patreon supporters and channel members. So if you guys want to see this thing like through to completion before the end of before the tournament, then that is a great place to start. If you like the cheapest option I got is like $1.99 a month, but I'm doing that to restrict the viewership so that not everybody, again, I can't say this enough, I'm repeating myself, but I just want it to be so that you guys are kind of part of this, so it's not happening in a vacuum. I can take your suggestions, but I also just don't want this to be public knowledge. So that is, yeah, that's the best way I can say it. And, you know, that's the truth. So I hope to see you guys in the next stream. We are going to continue on with our Stellaris stream otherwise, and the one that no one's watching. So if you haven't watched it, you should probably try to watch it. It's a good game, guys. I don't care what anyone says about Paradox. They made a good game with that one. If you don't believe me, come fight me in the next stream. That'll be tomorrow night. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you spending your time here. I know you guys could go off and watch someone who's actually good at building builds. So I will see you guys next time. Mike Tannick out.